Hello, everybody. Welcome to December 7th, 2021 Zoning Hearing Board. Tonight we have 5 appeals on the agenda. But right off the bat, there is appeal number 7, the last one on the sheet, that's asking for a continuance to February 15th. As we have some missing members tonight, by the way, I want to bring that up before we go any further. Only 3 of us here tonight, so I'll keep that in mind. It's better than actually having 4 because we don't have an even number. Anyway, I'm going to ask for continuance for appeal number 21-1941 for February 15th. Can I get the motion from somebody?
Yeah, I'll make that motion. Can we get it, a continuance of appeal 21-1941 until February 15th, 22? Would someone like to second that?
There's been a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor of the continuance to February 15th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? No one's opposed. This appeal has been moved to February 15th. Thank you very much. All right, now we're going to go back in order with number 3. We need to get, is Ed on virtual tonight?
Yep, bringing Ed in now.
Hey, guys, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ed, just a housekeeping matter. Can you, I think in your email, you didn't technically waive the time restrictions for the continuance for 21-1941.
So waived. I confirm the waiver. Be happy to send you a confirming note tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Ed. All right.
And, I'll ask the board's indulgence if it makes sense. I know there's 3 more after me. Would the board allow me to summarize the application to try to speed things up? It's a fairly straightforward one, and the board would allow, I'll do it and just ask either of my 2 potential witnesses to confirm the accuracy of my summary.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll mark the exhibits down then.
Yeah,
Sure, Adam, Adam
quick.
can do his normal thing, and then I'll pick up when he's finished.
All right. So we have the application as A1, the site plans on their 2 sheets, I believe, as A2. The outline of requested relief that was prepared by Mr. Murphy is A3. The 2 deeds are collectively marked as A4. B1, proof of publication, B2, proof of posting, and B3 is the notice to the neighbors.
All right. Oh, yeah, just get my plan set.
Okay.
All right.
And I don't see anyone in the audience that might have an interest, but I don't know that. Adam,
I'm not sure.
Barbara Kirk here.
he doesn't count. She's always there.
She's always interested.
Yeah, always.
All right, Mr. Murphy, I'm sorry.
So, what's in front of the board this evening? Good evening. I'm Ed Murphy. I'm here tonight on behalf of the applicants. With me tonight are both CT Troilo as well as our engineer, John Richardson, both of whom were on the screen as well, participating virtually. What's in front of the board this evening is a very small request to increase the percentage of apartment units located at Flowers Field. As background, this project was approved 10 years ago. And when it was approved pursuant to the historic commercial zoning district, traditional neighborhood development overlay. And for properties of a certain size, which this is one, you had to provide a mixed use development, and you would have a range of mixed uses and certain percentages, both minimum and maximum, were assigned to those different mixed uses. In the case of Flowers Field that was approved in 2011, originally, as my outline suggests, there was 51,000 square feet of office space. There was 6,500 square feet of restaurant and 12 apartment units, all of which were located along the Langhorne Yardley Road frontage of the site. As I think everyone is acutely aware, the largest residential portion of the project in the center of the site has been constructed and is largely completed by DeLuca. What has not been built at all in the intervening 10 years is the perimeter development that contemplated both apartments on Langhorne Yardley and office/retail on Stony Hill Road. Over the years, everyone has commented about, wouldn't it be nice to get the project finished, and it's languished for 10 years. I think all of us know as well that both before and after COVID, the office market has greatly diminished. So despite everyone's best efforts to market the perimeter available square footage, there have been no serious takers. There have been a couple of banks that have expressed interest at one time and a couple smaller local retailers that expressed interest, but nothing has ever come to fruition. So at the present time, 10 years in, nothing has been constructed that is depicted on that approved plan. So in an effort to jumpstart and finish the project, what's in front of you tonight is a request to make a reallocation of the various mixed uses. The office space would be reduced from 51,000 to 31,000. The restaurant square footage would be increased from 6,500 to 10,000 square feet in an effort to hopefully identify a second potential restaurant use. And lastly, the number of apartments would propose to be increased from 12 to 30, and those would be located along the property frontage on Stony Hill Road. So to do that would trigger an increase beyond the 35% maximum allowance for apartments that the ordinance would otherwise allow. So under the formula, 35% would get you to 25 or 26 apartments, and we're asking to go from 26 to 30. We are not proposing to change the footprint of any of the buildings that are approved on that plan from 2011. All we would be doing would be swapping out residential units within those same footprints where either office or retail space would have otherwise been allocated. So the total request is to go from 26 allowable apartments to 30. I know the other night when we were in front of the Board of Supervisors, somebody said, well, we're only going up 1 or 1.5 from 28 or 29 to 30. The math actually is a little bit different. So it would take us from 26 to 30 is the more accurate calculation. But again, footprint of buildings doesn't change. Everything else remains the same. So with that summary, CT, I would ask you, I guess both you and John should get sworn just in case there are follow-ups. But is Bill Campbell available to swear them in, or whoever?
Yes, he is.
Okay. CT, you're going to have to unmute yourself when you hear Bill ask you to be sworn.
Okay, you gentlemen, ready? You solemnly swear
Yep.
testimony about to give will be the truth. So help me God.
I do.
I do.
Okay, thank you.
CT, have you heard what I'll refer to as my executive summary of the background and nature of the application this evening?
Yes.
Was there anything in there that I inaccurately stated, or is there anything in addition you want to supplement with what I said to further flesh out the issue?
No, I believe you summed it up correctly.
John, in terms of the mathematical calculations that gave rise to what we're doing, did I accurately summarize where we are in terms of what is allowable up to the 35% apartment and what the overage represents in terms of actual units?
You did.
Okay. I don't have any other testimony to present. Board members, if anybody has any questions of either me or CT or John Richardson, that would be great. Or Barb, if you have any questions.
Matt, anything? YS Barb? Or James?
Has the Flowers Field Homeowners Association weigh on this proposal? Or is anyone here from there for public comment? Not that we're at public comment, but I'm just curious how Flowers Fields feels about this.
Flowers Field, we have not heard from them. I think a resident was on the meeting the other night, Adam, during the supervisor's presentation. But that resident association is not part of the office or commercial or restaurant use, but no one is, I've not heard from anybody. CT, have you heard from anyone?
I talked to one of the board members, called me with some questions, and I just clarified exactly what was going on with him. But that's the only contact I've had so far.
Barbara?
Ed,
Yep.
so what is the maximum calculation so far for the townhouses? Do you know?
I don't. The original approval was for 48 mix of 48 units, singles, towns, and twins, and 12 apartments for a total of 60.
So
That
the
was
reason,
the original approval. John, is that correct?
Well, that is correct. And specifically, the original approval and the current proposal both have 27 townhomes.
the reason I'm asking is instead of exceeding the apartment maximum of 35%, if you have not yet reached the maximum of 50% for a townhouse dwelling, why can't you flip a couple of the apartment units to a townhouse dwelling, which would keep you within the ratios of the zoning regulations?
I think the answer to that, Barb, is the effort is being made to not change the footprint of the retail space along Stony Hill Road, and those footprints are not conducive to that type of either single or townhouse living. They're more conducive to the apartments. CT, is that accurate? I think as you and your father have evaluated that, you were trying to not change the footprint of the structures.
That's correct, Ed. We were trying to do as little as possible to change things. We just were looking to reallocate some existing spaces.
I understand that, but I guess the question is, you're at about 26 apartments
Right,
that would hit your 35% maximum.
right.
Those 4 additional apartments that you're proposing can't be allocated to something else that would keep everything within the ratios under the zoning regulations?
Not without changing the footprint of some of those buildings that front on Stony Hill Road, because those apartments are much smaller than the townhouse would be. So-
If I may too, I believe potentially putting townhomes or singles or twins along either Stony Hill or Langhorne Yardley, I believe that could be a violation of the zoning ordinance of itself. This development, when it was done, the ordinance required residentials on internal streets of development and commercial spaces with potential apartments on the second floor, commercial spaces along the perimeter streets, where the perimeter streets would be the existing streets. So I could be wrong. I didn't anticipate this question, but I believe the zoning ordinance would not allow twins or singles or duplexes along the perimeter streets.
Okay, John, just so I can, so to keep the building footprint, you're proposing to eliminate retail and office space on the first floor and convert to apartments?
No, the apartments would still be on the second floors.
Okay, so everything is still going to be second floor apartments?
Correct.
Right, Barb, we're reducing, as I said, the office space from 51,000 to 31,000. So we're still going to have, a significant amount of office along the first floor. It'd just be the upper floors that we're trying to address.
All right, I just wanted to, for some reason, I just visioned that you were converting the excess office space into 2-floor apartments. That's why I was, I guess, thinking you could substitute a townhouse as opposed to an apartment.
Okay, understood. Now I
That's all.
understand. I rarely understand what you asked, but now I.
And I love you too, Ed.
I know. I know.
That's all I have.
Have you confirmed the restaurant size of 10,000 square feet with any restaurateurs that you're looking at?
I'll answer that, Ed. We're looking to perhaps maybe we have a pad site for, the corner building is approved for a restaurant, which we are looking to develop ourselves in partnership with some other people. And we're looking for the potential to add another restaurant in some of the retail space. That's why we're asking for the increase in restaurant space.
Okay,
So
you're
it's
looking
not
at-
all allocable to a single restaurant, CT,
Okay.
right? It would be probably 2, the way your current thinking would be.
That is correct, though I think there's 500 feet of that space is actually also approved for a coffee shop or something along those lines.
Okay.
Excuse me, have any parking impact studies been completed since we're going from 12 residential units to 30?
Yes, and those are on the plan, and with the reallocation, if approved, it would in fact create a surplus of parking spaces beyond what the ordinance would require, but we're not proposing to eliminate any of them. So it actually turns into a more positive situation of providing excess parking that would be available. And I
What are
see
the
Jim
plans?
Majewski nodding his head, and I think Jim's already looked at that issue as well and can confirm what I just summarized. Right, Jim?
Correct.
You got to unmute yourself.
He doesn't have a mic. He said correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Jim, you did review the parking study and it appears to be comprehensive or adequate?
Yeah, the office use has a higher intensity for parking than an apartment use.
Thank you.
I don't have any other testimony or exhibits to present.
Anybody out there for public comment? Guys, anybody online?
Virtual public comment online?
2, okay. Let's bring them in.
All right, we're bringing in Gary. Gary is now in the room.
Okay, can I speak?
Gotta get the speaker first and last name and give us your address to be sworn in.
Yeah, my name is Gary Smotrich, and I live at 1823 Windflower Lane in Flowers Field. My feeling is that debating a 35% or a 38.5% apartment
Hold on. You're going way too fast.
Oh,
Let's
someone's-
start from the
someone's
beginning.
transcribing this?
Turn you down now. You need to be sworn in. Go a little slower.
Okay.
And can we adjust the volume down just a little bit on this one? All right, your name and address.
It's Gary Smotrich, Smotrich, and I live at 1823 Windflower Lane in Flowers Field.
Okay, now you're gonna get sworn in.
Okay.
Gary, do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. What was your question again? Or comment?
My comment is this. My feeling is that debating a 35% or a 38.5% apartment dwelling ratio should not be the major issue that we're discussing this evening. I was curious how much time the board has spent at the intersection of Stony Hill and Yardley Langhorne Roads. You want to add hundreds of additional cars to roads in an intersection that are already too narrow and lack appropriate turning lanes. The curb radii are much too small to handle the anticipated traffic from this future development. And I can't imagine that safe ingress and egress on Yardley Langhorne Road is going to be possible with a heavily trafficked retail area. The plan was approved 10 years ago, which is a whole different era in terms of the traffic. And my feeling is that the plan needs to be completely reevaluated. When we first contemplated buying in Flowers Field, we were greeted by signs showing a very pretty depiction of a Main Street USA looking town on the signs out front. And I dare say that had any of the potential buyers seen this current site plan, they may have thought twice. The site plan that just recently came online shows a completely congested space, complete absence of adequate green space, and retail parking lots backing right up to homes. I think this plan demonstrates urban planning at its worst, tilted completely to maximize the developer's return on investment. Now, I have no problem with a developer trying to capitalize on an investment, but it's going to negatively impact our way of life. And maybe the expectation was that the noise from all this retail would cancel the traffic noise from I-295. And as far as this restaurant, it's almost laughable that it's now going to 10,000 square feet. I mean, it's outdoor music. And I guess the expectation is a lot of people are going to walk to this restaurant because I don't know where they're going to park. It boggles the mind, judging by the site plan, how a 10,000 square foot restaurant is going to handle all the cars. So my last thought is this. It was very convenient that the only mention of Cameron Troilo was buried deep in the public offering statement, along with the mention of apartments. And I think that was very deceptive marketing. Little do we know that Joe DeLuca was simply the builder and Mr. Troilo was the developer. And 2 years into this, we're seeing our quality of life and property values potentially decline by someone we've never met. And I'm meeting Mr. Troilo for the first time online tonight. It was also very convenient that both the builder and developer waited until all 48 homes were sold before the retail and apartment components were begun. So it's no wonder that Joe DeLuca moved out of Flowers Field once the last townhouse was sold. His living here temporarily was a great marketing pitch. My feeling is the entire development has been smoke and mirrors from the start, and this board needs to seriously reevaluate the entire scope of the project before one shovel is put in the ground. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Do you want to address his comments?
No, I mean, they're not accurate. I mean, I'm probably the only one in the room that remembers what happened 10 years ago. There were detailed studies. It took years to get the plan approved. There's less traffic being generated by what we're doing tonight than had the offices been moved forward. So, and PennDOT and everyone else spent years, and Jim Majewski knows this as well, looking at all the various movements at the intersection, not just at Langhorne, Yardley, and Stony Hill, but other surrounding movements as well. So none of what the speaker said is accurate. So beyond that, there's not any point in continuing to debate it. So.
Okay, thank you, Ed.
We also have Brian on the line.
Okay, bring Brian in.
Brian, you're now in the room. You can hit *6 to unmute.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, Brian, just state your name and address and to be sworn in.
Brian McNamara, Heather Circle, Lower Makefield. Okay.
Hold on, he's getting his microphone.
Can you spell your last name for me?
McNamara.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, so help you God?
I'm not right. Yes, I'm not really giving testimony. I'm just asking questions. Public comment.
What was that again?
It's a public comment. I'm not really giving I'm not giving testimony. I'm asking questions. Public comment. So, yes.
You are. That's basically the public comment is testimony as well. So it's a yes or no answer.
Sworn in at a supervisor meeting. Yes, sure. Two things is when a developer has a plan set in place for 10 plus years here now, can they just come in and reallocate spaces like this in past and then go over what the zoning allows? Has this ever been done before without coming in with new plans? And what if the restaurants doesn't sell and the other office space doesn't sell? Could they come in and just make all those spaces and apartments? Is this something that's typically done? Do they have this once a plan is put in place and voted and approved? Could they just adjust the allocations? Because we have other plans coming along that this could be happening to as well.
So
as Mr. McNamara well knows, no, nobody can do anything in a vacuum. That's why there is a zoning hearing board. That's why if we want to make changes to an approved plan, we have to go through the process we're in the middle of doing right now, and that is to seek an adjustment to the plan. That's nothing new. It happens every month, and that's why there's a zoning hearing board to consider modifications.
Doesn't
to
happen every
ordinance.
month. It doesn't happen every month.
It does happen though. That's what he's trying to say. Let's not get argumentative here.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking. So when you can just adjust, once the plan's approved, you can, the developer can come back in and readjust the usages in allocations in a plan. Because we have a big one coming down the road. So I'm just wondering if that's something that can be done.
Well, this plan originated, well, how many years ago? 10 years ago? Things have changed recently. They're looking for a little bit of adjustment. I'm not picking a side here. I'm just saying this does happen. In what you're commenting on is nothing should change from the 10 years ago from when it started. And I understand that, but that's why we do have a zoning hearing board, to see something, a reasonable change to adapt to the current issue of the Lower Makefield Township area there. Things do get adjusted. So you just don't want to have any change from then, even though that probably would not be viable in their eyes? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's yes, one would be, is this allowed? And now we're adding, doubling the apartments here. They want to add apartments down the road from this as well, at double the capacity or double what the zoning allows as well. So, it's a lot of changes and additions and going over what the zoning calls for. So why have zoning if we're just going to just ignore it, number one? And number two, and I don't know, and I'm asking me Fred this question because I know there was a lot of confusion at the last supervisor meeting. Did the supervisors vote to oppose the addition to apartments to this plan? I'm not sure. I know there was two different things going on at once.
They did not. They voted to participate. The other application that you were opposed to is the one that they are actively opposing.
Okay, so yeah, it was very confusing at the end of that meeting. Yes, when you double the amount of apartments that are approved, I think it's worth going back in and looking over the plans altogether.
Ed, how many townhouses and apartments are there? What's the new plan showing? How many townhouses?
John, do you want to walk through everyone, the net, if approved, the new breakdown of singles, twins, towns, and apartments?
Sure. The only units that we're changing are the apartments. So the original approved plans and the current proposal had 3 singles, 18 twins or 2 family, as the ordinance calls them. Both of them have 27 townhomes. Those numbers have not changed. The only numbers that change is we're proposing apartments to go from 12 apartments to 30 apartments.
And are you reducing the number of townhouses or are they staying the same?
No, all the other units, townhomes, singles, and 2 families stay the same.
Where we're picking up the apartments is reducing the amount of office from 51,000 square feet to 31,000 square feet.
Correct. Did you hear that, sir?
Yes, thank you.
I'm just trying to make sure I understand. You said the supervisors meeting was confusing. I wasn't there and I don't know what it was. But I'm just trying to see if this clears up that confusion that you might have heard at that meeting.
There was no confusion on this application at the supervisor's level.
Okay.
Longer,
I wasn't there.
more
I'm
involved
just here.
discussion was the other one, item number 7 on the agenda tonight that's been continued.
Correct. Anybody else?
No further public comment.
What'd you say?
No further public comment. All right. With that being said, no further comment.
I have no other testimony or exhibits to offer, and I'll rest.
You have other exhibits to
So to
offer?
speak. Nothing else to offer. No.
Nothing else.
There's nothing else.
All right, make a motion.
Make a motion to approve Appeal 21-1937 as submitted.
I'll second that motion.
Motion being second, all those approved, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, we need a discussion. Any discussion?
Well, I just want to say, my point of view on this is I don't see how this change adversely impacts the surrounding neighborhood, the traffic patterns. The footprints are the same. We're taking 4 second-floor office spaces and converting them into apartments. To me, this was a no-brainer, to me.
Thank you, James. Anything else? All right. Motion being seconded. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? No one's opposed. Motion is carried. Thank you very
All right,
much.
guys. Thank you. Thank you, Barb.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
See you on the 21st. Can't
Thank you,
wait.
Ed.
And for the board,
Yeah, thanks, Ed. We were planning to take that day off, but thanks.
I will be leaving as I'm not participating in any of the other applications. Thank you. And I will see you on the 21st.
We'll miss you till then.
All right, Barb, thanks. Just give me a minute and get my paperwork in order here. We'll move on. Okay, we are on appeal number 4 in your schedule, if you have one, and it's appeal number 21-1938, and it's Douglas and Sarah Louis. I hope I'm saying that right. I imagine they're out here, or are they on virtual, or do we have them? Douglas and Sarah? Is
We don't
everybody
have them on
virtual?
Zoom.
Wait. Oh. All right, well, let's move to the next one then. Maybe they'll come up. Next one is appeal number 5, and it's appeal number 21-1939, Susan Wagner. And here they are. Come on up, state your, yes, grab a mic. So you have a mic. Yeah, state your names, addresses.
Oh.
Get out of there.
I'm Susan Wagner. I'm at 10 South Homestead Drive. I'm the owner.
Okay, you need to get sworn in.
He's the contractor. He's the contractor.
Where's both there? You solemnly swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, so help you God?
No offense.
Chris Evans. Name is Chris Evans. Chris Evans.
Okay, as we get started, I don't know if there's any exhibits you want to enter in.
Briefly. Application A1, site plan A2. Proof of publication B1, proof of posting B2, and B3 is the notice to the neighbors.
Okay, thank you. I see it's a fence. You want to explain to the board what you're trying to do?
I would like to put a patio in my backyard. And I think we went a little bit, what I asked for was a little bit more than what the permeable ground was, but we did remediation work in the plans suggested. And so we're hoping that it's much less complicated than item number 3 and nobody has any problem.
Or you're just putting a fence up in the, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, where am I? Oh, I got the wrong one in front of me. I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
That's
Actually, we have
okay.
an A3. We do have the impervious surface
Hold on.
breakdown calculations,
My mistake.
which also have some of the stormwater management. And that's going to be A3.
All right. Oh, you're doing the patio. Now I remember reading this. So you increased the impervious surface to 23.1%. Do we have a calculation on that that's accurate? Jim, was that accurate?
Actually, I checked the calculation. There was a slight error in the existing impervious surface,
Thought so too.
which also impacts the proposed.
Mhm.
The existing impervious surface is 20%. And that makes the proposed 24.9,
25.
sorry.
25.1.
25.1.
Yes, is that because it was pavers there before and they didn't count that properly? Was that right? I thought I remember seeing this.
Actually, I think they miscalculated the dwelling primarily. That was off by several hundred square
Okay.
feet.
So do you-
However, the stormwater management calculations are still valid. They're proposing to handle all of the runoff that is generated by the proposed impervious surface. Plus, it's just a little bit bigger than necessary. So it actually picks up 125 square feet of the existing impervious surface on the lot.
And what kind of mitigation of this for this impervious surface are you using?
Use the microphone.
What are you using to get rid of the excess water?
Stormwater management pit, it's a 3 foot, should be on the plan, 3 foot.
Got to bring it close.
Yeah, bring it a little closer so we can hear you.
I think it's on there. It's either 3 feet deep or 3.5 feet deep by 10 by 12.
Jim, was that appropriate? Was it large enough?
Yes, as I stated, that handles all of the increase in the impervious surface, plus a little bit of extra impervious surface.
I'm sorry, I'm adding my mic on. Is there no setback on this patio? It looks like it's awful close to the property line. Is that another issue?
Yes.
I mean, it looks like they're a foot.
And I think that's a separate ordinance. That's, hold on a second. Just give me 1 minute.
Sure, go ahead.
I believe that it's required to be 5 feet from the property line. That's not in the zoning ordinance, but that's another section of the township code.
So do you understand what he's saying? Oh. Yeah.
Correct. You have to use the microphone.
Yeah.
Part of the
Louder.
reason why we're here at this meeting for that.
No, it's not on your appeal application. Well, you could have done both, but you should have just added it to the sheet, but nonetheless, you're not going to get a foot. It's not going to happen. You can't hear?
You got to use the mic.
You got to use the mic. Yeah,
So
thank you.
we would have never been approved for a foot anyway from the end. It has to be 5.
5 would be a bare minimum, man.
The property is like the property is so bizarrely situated.
I understand.
Yeah. I mean,
understand.
I don't, how many feet is it from the house to the edge anyway? Do you remember? Oh, 25 from the end.
I mean,
Okay. So we have to be 5 feet from the fence line.
Well, I guess you would have to make it shorter.
Can you just make it
wider.
20 feet and
Shorter
put
or
it
wider.
24 feet?
You can go 20 feet.
You have to-
20 feet.
What is the max? It's
20
gonna go
feet.
From the house to there.
You got to be 5 feet from the property
I
line.
understand that.
The
but
20.
I thought that was one of the reasons why we're here, for her to get the to say why.
No, no. No, you're here for impervious surface. I believe.
Yeah,
Yes.
so if we're
Yes.
making it
25.1.
then we'd be less impervious surface, would be 4 feet by 32 feet square.
You'd
feet.
still be over regardless. You-
Anthony, can we deal with that tonight and just have them resubmit the plans to the township?
Well, they could just agree to go to 20 feet.
Yeah, that's my point.
Question, if I reapplied,
No, you
you're
don't have
saying
to.
You don't
there's
have to reapply, you just get a continuance. If
if
you-
a continuance, okay, if there was a continuance, is there ever like, is a hardcore, like, I'm never going to be able to get more than 5? Okay. I'm just reading the room here. Like, I would like to be, because the backyard is so small, the way the
I
house is
understand.
situated. And I literally have almost a half an acre. It's crazy how big my property is.
I got it.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
You can do it a little bit less, and then your impervious surface mitigation covers we can figure out how much less it would be. Jim? You're still gonna need something?
May I ask, you're asking if
Yeah,
pushing
generally,
it back 5 offsets the whole permeable thing. Okay.
It might, some.
Some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not-
I don't, I mean, I feel pretty comfortable about the mitigation that we're doing, even pushing it back 5. I think we hit all of our coverage anyway, but
He'll figure it out in a second.
Okay.
He's very good at it.
my sadness is at the 5 foot.
And generally, concrete, a foot from somebody's property, it's.
Even though there's a fence up, like I can't even, no. All right.
You're going to end up going from 32 wide to 20 deep as opposed to 24 deep. It's still a substantial patio, but I get
Okay.
that you're disappointed.
I am.
It
So,
would be 4 feet less since you're a foot off the property line.
Right.
So it'd be a 20-foot by 32-foot patio.
20, all right, I can only go 20. I still have to do 5 off the fence line, but you're saying I can increase it in the other direction if I wanted to. If I
Correct.
wanted to stick with the original calculation, I could push my square footage somewhere else.
You could.
We gotta watch where you increase them or back impervious surface, so it should.
But if that was what the application was for tonight, if my original calculation of square footage
Mhm.
would remain the same, I could push the 5 to
Say
the
that's accurate.
width instead of the length.
I'd say
Okay.
that's accurate.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that your?
Just wondering what my,
That's it. If you reduce it to 20 by 32 and you want to go wider because you're reducing it by the 5 feet or the 4 feet, and that comes up to a number that you're still within the impervious surface with your mitigation, that would be fine.
Okay.
And to answer your question, yeah, based on like for like, you could literally make this 38.4 feet wide and it would be the exact same amount of impervious surface.
Right. I'm just going to go a little bit wider. I just wanted, before I ask for a continuance, I wanted to make sure that there was no chance.
But that's up to you, but I think what James just said is right, and it would expedite things. But if you did change something, you still have to let us know, or not us know, but let the,
We'd have to
Yeah,
reapply
you
again to
can't just,
say we're doing it. But
not
basically,
reapply for zoning.
right.
Yeah.
So we're going to say, yes, we will take the 5 and keep my square footage that we originally calculated because I already bought the pavers, and I'll probably push the square footage into the width instead of the depth to the back fence. If
Are we
that makes
okay with
sense.
that? She does the width.
I probably won't even do it, but I might as well ask for it while I'm here.
I think it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Well, if we're going to do that, should we add that into the motion?
Yeah, we should.
We should add that into the motion.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll give you some, we will add it in there for you,
Okay.
and you'll just,
You're not going to need a continuance.
Okay. Not unless I really wanted to try for that foot from the property line.
is there any public comment on this? Anybody on the phone?
No public comment online.
No public comment, I never know. All right, with no public comment.
You have something?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Microphone.
There's the front walkway that's on that plan as well.
Right,
Okay.
that's figured in. Yeah, it's all done.
I will make a motion to approve Appeal 21-1939, subject to an impervious surface of 25.1% with mitigation back to 20%.
Okay with that?
I'll second that.
Motion's been second. Is there any discussion? No discussion. I'll take a vote. All those in favor of this? Say
Aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. There you go. Stay in
Thank
touch with
you.
the office.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
It doesn't, but I'll
Yeah,
take
that's pretty good, believe me. Well, not this one. Thank you. You too, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, we're moving on to appeal number 6 on the sheet. It's actually appeal number 21-1940, and it's William Shelter. Shetler, I'm sorry. And you're here. Come on up. Looks like you should sit. It's up to you. Sworn in, name and address, and get sworn in.
William Shetler, 1339 Lexington Drive.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, let me just mark the
We
exhibit.
got to accept, let's see, thank you.
A1 is the application site plan, and I believe there are 2 sheets, collectively A2. B1, proof of publication, B2, proof of posting, and B3, notice to the neighbors.
Yeah, try to explain it, because I looked at your plan and I couldn't really get heads or tails out of it. But it looked complicated, but
In 1988, we added the sunroom, and in roughly 1990, I added a sand and brick patio with a walkway around the sunroom to join to the driveway.
is that the highlighted in yellow thing here?
Yes,
Okay, so that's already installed?
yes, it was installed 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know at that point that I needed a permit to do that because I thought it was pervious because the water goes right through it.
Some towns it does, some towns it don't. Our town pavers does not.
Right.
Is-
So I'm not
is
replacing
impervious.
existing, I guess, because that was never approved. But what we're asking to do is to replace that exact same footprint
Mhm.
with cement, which will make it obviously pervious, which would increase the pervious structure from a percentage from 18.5% to 20,
Is that correct, Jim?
20.5.
21.5 you have on here.
21.5.
That's
is
what he's,
correct.
is correct? And your plan for reducing for mitigating the excess water?
I thought that the plantings and the trees that I have would cover that, but apparently it doesn't.
We
so
try to limit that.
I would need to know what to do. I didn't have a plan specifically for that.
You have a contractor working on this?
Not yet. I have a contractor lined up to do the patio.
Yeah, generally, anything more than 1% over, we want something more permanent. Planning sometimes die, fall apart, get removed, and they don't get put back in, and we're right back where we started from.
Right.
So we don't allow that for that much. So generally, a seepage pit, dry well, something to that effect would have to be installed. Jim can give you probably a minimum size on something. Is that possible, Jim?
Yes, I'll give you a couple of representative size. One would be 3 feet deep by 6 feet wide by 13 feet. So it's basically a pit that's dug out. They line it with a filter fabric so that dirt doesn't migrate in. And then you put in coarse stone that's clean. And then when water goes into it, it fills up in that area and can slowly seep into the ground. And it could be any configuration that fits within your specific landscape. It could also be, let's say, 3 feet deep by 8 feet by by 10 feet. So 3 by 8 by 10, that's another configuration. Or you can make it a couple of other different
Would it
ways.
be a trench?
It's
Yes,
a trench, yes.
it could be a trench, it could be a square pit, whatever works better.
You know, the way that the flower beds are currently configured, a trench between the flower beds would probably be the best way to do that. And I'm certainly willing to do that. Wasn't aware that.
We certainly would have to see it when you handed your permits in, make sure that's okay with Jim. I have a dry well in my house. It's just a square box. It's like he described first, 10 feet deep. That's what I did, only because I had limited space. Sometimes it depends on your property, how it is.
Yeah, well, the way we've got significant flower beds, planting beds in the back, and there's, in the middle, there's a path, it's about 10, 12 feet wide that would run right through that, right into the backyard. I mean, I could certainly wrap a path right through there. That would be
If we,
the easiest thing to do.
if we said that, you would be okay if we put that in the motion to require you to get that put in, and it has to be approved by Jim,
Absolutely.
would you be okay with that?
Mhm.
I've got the public comment. I don't know if there is any public comment on this. On this, but no,
No public comment online.
Your neighbors like you.
Yes, they do. Maintain a beautiful property and have
Yeah.
try to do the best for the township.
I don't have a problem as long as you're okay with that. You have to do something there. Like Jim said, there's several configurations.
I'm absolutely fine with that.
All right.
I just want to add, forgot to put in A3 impervious surface calculations and the stormwater controls. That's two sheets will be collectively A3, and A4 is the list of the trees on the property for related to the stormwater. Thanks.
Thank you, Adam. Matt, would you like to make a motion on that, or James, or whatever?
I'll make a motion to approve appeal number 21-1940. Subject to proposed impervious surface of 21.5% with mitigation back to 18.5% with review and approval by the town engineer.
You got that?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll second that.
it's been second. Any discussion? Since there's no discussion, I'll go for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Nobody's opposed. Motion carries.
So
Keep
what do
Jim
I
in the
do,
loop.
Jim,
You're-
Tomorrow, or what do I do? What's the next step?
You're going to bring in plans that show what your mitigation is going to look like. And usually an engineering, draw architect, PE, somebody's going to have
Can I
to.
get the number from Jim that I need? That I didn't write that down.
I will provide you with some sample calculations of different
Okay,
configurations.
you just email them to me.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Your contractor could probably design this.
I'm sure it's a cement contractor that I have, obviously, but I'm sure that they could do it.
You might not be able to.
I'm not worried about getting it done. I just didn't know that I needed to do it. So, thank you.
All right, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Is there anything?
Mr. and Mrs. Lewing come in?
Oh, did they come back?
I don't know.
Nobody came back? Oh, man, that's a shame. What if they forgot?
What do you want to do? Push them or?
Can we call them?
Push it to January, I guess.
We're gonna have to push them to
because,
January.
Well, the 21st is just going to be, the deck appeal.
Yeah, that's booked.
So
Thank you.
we could do the first, this first meeting in January. I'm just pulling up
January 4th.
January 4th. So, yeah, could be then.
Is there anything else on that agenda?
We will have other agenda items.
I'll make a motion to continue appeal 21-1938 to January 4th.
Second it.
Any discussion? Being no discussion, all those in favor of the motion? Do it.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. That's continued to, what's this for? Continued to
January
January 4th,
22.
2022. Thank you very much.
Need a
And motion to adjourn? James?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye, aye,
Aye.
aye. Adjourn. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much,
See ya.
everybody.